Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to The Voice Within. Today's podcast episode is inspired by something which happened with my son. Every time when I pick him up from school, we have small chit-chat, small talk while we are driving back home, and usually he comes back to me with all of the things which were happening in the school, asking for guidance, asking for wisdom. So a few days ago, he had a situation where one girl in the school was behaving inappropriate, and he went to a teacher and complained on her behavior. However, her behavior was not affecting him directly. She was not bullying him. She was not hitting him. She was just behaving in a certain way for herself, and he was quite upset with it. And I completely understand why he was upset, because that particular behavior is something which we don't allow him to do, and something that we explain him many, many times that it is disrespectful and not polite. For me, it was interesting his attempt to basically change her. So he was trying to talk to her. He was trying to explain her how that behavior is not correct. Once she didn't listen to him, he went to a teacher and complained. Then I asked him, in that particular situation, how could you protect yourself from that behavior without trying to change her? And he was quiet for the few seconds, and then he said, well, I could stop being around her. I could remove myself from the playground. I could ignore her. I could play with somebody else. And then I told him, you see, in that moment, you had basically more power than you thought, but you outscored your power to trying to change her, to trying to teach her something which is not your job to teach her. And then he said to me, yeah, but then she will behave in that way. And when I see it, I don't like it. Yes, I understand you don't like it, but at the same time, you don't have to stay where she is. You can simply remove yourself. You have agency and power to move yourself from the situations which are inappropriate and they are not okay for you. You don't have to try to change other people. You can simply remove yourself from the things which are not acceptable to you. And all of this situation with my son made me think how often we, like a woman, we say to a people, you do this, or you made mistake, or you behaving in a certain way, instead of saying, I don't accept this, I don't like this, I will remove myself from this situation. In my presence, I don't allow XYZ. Basically, how often we behave like my son behaved in this situation, where we put so much effort and so much energy in attempts to change other people instead of using our own willpower, our own agency to remove ourselves from situations which are not acceptable to us. If you pay attention on your life, you will see that in many areas of your life, you waste so much energy in trying to make other people to understand, other people to see, other people to change, instead of you using your power to remove yourself from the things that you don't want to be involved with. We often say, you don't listen, you don't understand me, you always dismiss me, you never help me, you are disrespectful, you don't consider me. It's always kind of pointed towards others instead of ourselves. And let me be clear, sometimes it is necessary to name behavior to stop it in the first place. But what we often do is we name behavior, then we are waiting for the people to stop doing that so we feel comfortable with them, instead of us basically saying, I don't allow this, I don't accept this, and I'm not going to be involved in something like this. And sometimes the behavior of other people is true. Sometimes people do disrespect us, do dismiss us, don't value us. But the thing is, the more we try to prove their behavior to them, more we are entering in the courtroom. Now, instead of protecting ourselves from the behavior of other people, which is not acceptable for us, we enter the courtroom. Now we are discussing with the people their own behavior. We are like forcing them and trying to make them change so we don't have to take our power back and make decisions which are sometimes not comfortable. Because when you think about it, if, let's say, somebody is disrespecting you and you say to that person, you are disrespecting me, it's kind of like identity attack. Most of the people, especially those who are not in personal development journey, who are not self-aware, who are not growing, they will have very hard time to say, yes, I am disrespecting you and I will continue doing this. The people will fight. The people will try to say whatever they can say to prove that that's not the case, that that is the way you see the things. And then in that moment, we go even more into the courtroom. We start discussing more and more, proving more and more how certain behavior is disrespectful towards us. And I often say that we cannot change other people if they don't want to change themselves. We cannot force them. We cannot convince them. We can just simply give them feedback. If they ask for it, we can offer advice, but what they're gonna do with it, it's their own decision. The only thing that we can do and only thing that we have power over is ourselves. So instead of pushing people to agree with their behavior, inappropriate behavior towards us, we basically come back to ourselves. So let's say, I don't accept being spoken like this. I don't stay in conversations where I'm disrespected. I don't stay in conversations where I'm being dismissed. I don't organize my life around guilt. I don't stay around gossips. Whichever situation or behavior of other people is affecting you, the question underneath is very simple. What can I do so this behavior of other people no longer has access to me? How can I remove myself? How can I protect myself in this situation without trying to change other people? So it's the same thing that I ask my son. What can you do to protect yourself from that behavior which is affecting you in some way without trying to change that girl? What can you do peacefully to protect yourself without trying to convince her that her behavior is inappropriate? We spend so much time in our life trying to get the people to stop being who they are around us. Stop being rude. Stop being dismissive. Stop being disrespectful. Stop disvaluing me. Stop talking like that to me. Stop, I don't know, whatever. You stop so I don't have to do what? So I don't have to exercise my agency, so I don't have to set boundaries, which puts us in very reactive position, because then our sense of respect, our sense of value, the way we feel around people is based on how other people treat us, not on how we treat ourselves. Because when we say, you do this, you are like this, stop doing this, we are naming behavior and we are basically saying, now you change so I don't have to deal with it. And when you think about it, it is ridiculous, because other people cannot know what do we consider disrespect. Other people cannot know what do we consider not being valued. Other people cannot sit in our body to know what exactly is happening inside of us. We all have different sense of what is disrespect, what is dismissive, what is, I don't know, rude. We all are coming back from different environments, different parents, the way we are raised. What is okay for somebody is not okay for another person. So for the people to know how to behave with us, we cannot expect them to change so we feel okay with them. We basically have to give them guidelines how to behave with us. And those guidelines cannot come from you behave like this, so I feel okay when I'm with you. It has to come with, I don't accept this. And if you continue that, then I will respectfully remove myself, because this is not behavior that I accept around myself. As long as we are expecting other people to change, we are basically putting responsibility on them. Why? Because if we move from our power, if we go into, I don't accept this, I don't like this, I don't tolerate this, then the question underneath is, if I don't accept this, will you judge me? If I don't know, limit my access to you when you behave like this, will you love me? if I remove myself from this situation, will you still accept me? So basically what we are asking people to do is, you change so I can stay around you, because if you continue behaving like this, then maybe I will be forced to remove myself from this relationship or situation, and I will feel maybe rejected. I will lose acceptance from the people. So instead of exercising our agency and practicing being misunderstood, judged, sometimes unloved, sometimes gossiped about, we try to force people to change so we don't have to feel that way. And like I said, that is reactive place, because then it's depending completely on the behavior of other people around us. And then interesting thing in this is we often say somebody doesn't value me, somebody doesn't respect me, somebody is dismissing me, somebody is rude to me. We notice behavior of other people very quickly, and it's completely normal and human thing. We all judge people a little bit. We all compare ourselves to other people. I think it's a part of human nature. But if you think about it, is it realistic to expect from the people to value us, respect us, behave in a certain way around us if we don't give ourselves exactly that? Do you value, respect, appreciate yourself enough to remove yourself from the situations where you don't feel respected and valued? Because in order, for example, for people to respect you, you have to start respecting yourself. And you respect yourself by choosing what is disrespectful around you and removing yourself from the situations where you feel disrespected. Now the people have blueprint. Okay, when I do this, she considered this disrespectful and she will remove herself from this situation. So if I want to keep this person next to me, then I have to behave in a certain way to preserve relationship. So we stop trying to change other people so we feel respected. We basically take responsibility and change ourselves. And to change ourselves, we have to be able to tolerate discomfort of the change. Because if we tolerated certain behavior, let's say our entire life, and suddenly we're choosing something differently, people will react. Can we sit in discomfort of that? Can we own it? Because if we tolerated something our whole life, that doesn't mean that we have to tolerate it for the rest of our life. We can change our mind. We can say, okay, this was before and now I don't want to do this anymore. If we cannot do that for ourselves, if we cannot respect ourselves enough to remove ourselves from the situations where we are disrespected, if we cannot value ourselves and remove ourselves from the situation where the people don't value us, then how can we expect from the people to do that for us? Your power is not in being able to name everything, reading terms, being self-aware, growing, listening podcasts, and so on and so forth, gathering the knowledge. Your power is basically in using the knowledge you have to behave differently from your own power and your own agency. Your power is in stopping self-betrayals. Your power is in that moment where you kind of start behaving a little bit self-centered. Like, I am focusing now on myself, not in a selfish way of I don't care about others, but in a way where we include what is important to us. So we stop trying to change others, to make others understand, to make them see, to make them accept, to make them be somebody else that they don't want to be. And we simply become what we want to be. We become our own main project. And if you didn't listen that podcast episode, I think it's 1 or 2 behind, try to find some time to listen that podcast episode as well. That's the whole thing. Focusing on ourselves and what we can do in every possible situation without trying to change and force the people around us to behave in a certain way so we feel okay and comfortable. We choose what is comfortable and okay for us, and we behave based on that. That's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed and you find something valuable for yourself this week. Until the next week, I wish you a beautiful rest of the day. Bye.